is what it's like to stay at the Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur. In this video, I'm going to show you around the hotel, show you around the neighborhood around the hotel, show you around inside of one of the rooms. This room, a king bed room on the 35th floor. I'm going to share with you my pros and cons, let you know how much this hotel costs, and let you know whether you should consider staying here or not. All right, let's go. The Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur is a 5-star luxury hotel with 412 rooms located in a 39-story building. The bottom portion of the building from floors 3 to 15 are offices, and then the hotel rooms are on the upper floors. The hotel itself is located in the Kuala Lumpur City Center neighborhood, right next to the Kuala Lumpur Convention Center, and it's right near the Petronas Twin Towers. You can walk there in less than 10 minutes. So overall, a really great area if you're looking to be in the center of everything KL. Now, as you come in the hotel, through these doors, there's someone who stands here, and if you're checking in, they help you with your luggage, and then they escort you to this elevator where you go to check in all the way on the top. No, there's actually no check-in down here on the ground floor. It's really pretty empty, but when you do get up to the top floor, where you check in with views of the Petronas Towers behind you. Really a great way to start your visit. Also on the lobby floor, there's a few seats that you can hang out in and do some work. There's a couple of computers right here that's part of the business center. There's a desk that it looks like somebody used to sit at, but the sign says it's just self-service now. Please call us if you need help, and a copy machine if you need to make some copies. And then back on the ground floor, there's another restaurant, JP Terrace. Here they do a lunch buffet, since it's afternoon tea upstairs, and then they also kind of do like an afternoon snack time. And if you want to get up to your guest rooms without going all the way to the top, there's another set of elevators right here. These go up to the second floor, to the pool and spa level, and then you can transfer to the guest room elevators. Also note that this is the kind of building where G is the ground floor and the first floor above it is 1. So 2, where you transfer the pool and spa, is actually the 3rd floor from the ground. They must do a lot of events here. I've never seen something like this. On the first floor, they have an event showroom, a room that you can go in and see all the decorations that they could set up for your event. So those side elevators, if you take them to level 2, they actually come out outside. Up here is the pool house and the pool. And the pool deck area is really quite neat. They've got this section over here. This is not the pool, it's just water, where you can sit in these chairs, look at these palm trees, and then the pool right over here, it's an infinity pool that falls off like this on the 2nd floor, so not a great view, but you do have views of the Petronas Towers in the back. And then probably an area that looks like the kiddos would have fun. They've got this small pool right under here with a lot of water fountains spraying in it. And as is typical for most of Asia, they do ask you to shower before entering the pool. The Pool House restaurant that opens at lunchtime has great views overlooking that pool. Now the 2nd floor, if you come down from the guest room elevators, brings you in this way to the pool deck through the spa, Essa. The fitness center is a small but nicely appointed fitness center. It's got windows that look outside, a bunch of cardio machines, and a bunch of weights too. If you're thirsty, they've got water and they've got hand sanitizer. Nice. Alright, just 1 floor below the lobby, they have Restaurant 38. This is the hotel's breakfast buffet. They also serve afternoon tea and dinner from the menu. It has 2 sides, the Asian side, and then it has the Western side. Really impressive breakfast buffet. I love the fruit section. In particular, they've got some of my favorites, dragon fruit right there. Like 8 different selections of juices. Then over here, they have the Chinese section where you can get congee and you can get porridge. They've got noodles. I really liked the steamed baskets or the dim sum. Pretty good selection. The hargao was delicious. Open kitchen in the back, so you can see them cooking up all the food back there. Then we've got the kind of Malaysian section over here, where we've got the noodles, sambal fried rice, fish curry, and probably some coconut rice, although it doesn't have a sign on it. And then over here we have the roti canai station, where you can see them cooking up this Indian flatbread that's super popular, made fresh, quite delicious. They have a whole section for Malaysian teas where you can get tea tarik, masala tea, and ginger tea, fresh made for you. And then over in the Western section, they've got an area where they got pancakes, waffles, taiyaki fish. Is that Western? They have honeycomb, like the honey and the honeycomb. This is a super popular thing in Asia. I feel like all big Asia breakfast buffets have that. Then we have a selection of breads over here, including some interesting flavored butters, and a really great selection of Asian-inspired Western pastries. You can see the croissant has some matcha powder on it, and these are definitely some Malaysian treats. For the kiddos, they have a whole selection of donuts for breakfast. Yes, donuts are good for any meal. And then they've got what I'll call the English breakfast section, where you've got eggs, you've got sausage, you've got baked beans, and potatoes. And then they've got roasted tomatoes, corn, baked eggs, hash browns, and some frittatas with hard-boiled, soft-boiled eggs, interestingly here. And if you want eggs made, they can make them for you too. We've got some ice water here, some detox water, some iced tea, and if you're here with kids, they have little kiddie plates too. That's a lot of fun. And if you don't have the buffet included in your room rate, it's about 80 ringgit or about $20 US, which I think is pretty reasonable for such an amazing buffet. Now that we've seen everything around the hotel, let's check out the inside of one of the rooms. This is room 3524, a king bed room on the 35th floor. This is almost the topmost guest room floors. All right, so as you come in, first you'll notice great views. Let's just go ahead and start with that. I do not look out the Petronas Towers. Some do. I look out at the KL Tower right there and Merdaka 118. The tallest building in Malaysia. In the room, we have a nice desk right here that you can sit and do some work or some video editing right with that view. That's pretty neat. There's a television up on the corner that is on a little swivel that you can swivel that out if you'd like. And then over here, there is a nice chair that you can sit on to admire that view. When I checked in, there was a fruit plate right here and a little note from the assistant director of rooms welcoming me to my in-residence at the Grand Hyatt. Here's the king bed. Interesting setup in this room in that there's kind of a bed in the middle of the room. If you look, beds usually aren't like this in rooms, but this is the front door that we walked in. This is the bathroom, and it's in the middle with like little hallways on either side on kind of a floating platform on the bottom. Lots of wood. Generally a very clean room. Everything's clean in here. Hardwood floors with just a little bit of carpet by the bed, so you can get out of bed onto the carpet, not have a shocking thing on the floor. Complimentary water in the room. No ice machines, but you can have ice delivered to the room. What do we have down here? This is the mini bar in the room. This is not complimentary. This is charged. What do we have over here? We just have a little shelf. What do we have over here? We have things to make coffee and tea. And we have more mini bar stuff and a couple of mugs to make your coffee out of the Nespresso. This was the front door that we came into. These are some of the light switches. Also, this is how you set Do Not Disturb by flipping that switch. I'm gonna do that because I'm really quite tired. It's been a long journey to get here, so if I look like I've got the 5 o'clock shadow here, yes, I've not shaven in about 40 hours. All right, so coming in here, this is the closet in the room. There's a little seat in the closet. Actually, I guess you could put your luggage on this or something like that. There's 2 drawers underneath it. There's another set of drawers over here where you can put your stuff. This is the safe, this is the iron, and there's a big shelf up there. Lots of closet space in this room. Robe on the wall, and then this is the bathtub shower, also in the middle of the room, but right behind the bed. This is kind of translucent. You can't really see through it, but there's a big soaking bathtub right here, and then the shower right next to it. The shower has a handheld, which I always like, and it also has a rain head up at the top. Big, tall ceilings up here too. All right, the toilet room has its own door. Over here, it's a normal Toto toilet, but it also has this thing so that you could, like, if you want to wash yourself afterwards, instead of using toilet paper, you can use this thing to wash yourself off. What do we got up here? We got an extra roll of toilet paper up in there and an interesting mirror right above the toilet. Make the room feel a little bit bigger. And now, what's this? This looks like sound. So maybe if you're watching TV, you can hear it in the shower or the bathtub. Privacy, what's this? Oh, hey, there we go. If you want to see outside, you can flip this switch right here, and then that snaps that so that you can see through, or it makes it so that you can't. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that in a hotel room before. Over here, we have the sink over on the side. Lots of counter space to put your stuff on. Just one sink, though, not two. Balmain lotion and soap. There's also a little mirror area over here with a stool, hair dryer, and a couple of big mirrors. And then, what's this? This isn't open, probably for a connecting room to the other room. That's my guess, and air conditioning right here. Well, all right, fellow explorers, now that we've seen around the room, if you watch my hotel reviews regularly, you'll know it's now time when we're joined by Topher. He says, hey, don't throw me. All right, I won't throw you. I'll treat you very nicely, Topher. It's time when I'm joined by Topher, my traveling panda brother, who's gonna help me review this hotel, where I review them on a scale of 1 to 5 Tophers. And so, Topher, how many Tophers is the Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur going to get? It's gonna get what? It's gonna get what? It's gonna get 4.5 Tophers. All right, so now we'll talk about the pros and the cons of why I got 4.5 Tophers, why I didn't get 5 Tophers, whether I would stay here again, and whether you should stay here. But first, need to tell you how much I paid for this hotel to put it all in context. So I redeemed Hyatt points to stay at this hotel. This is a Category 3 Hyatt for 6 nights. I was staying here over New Year's, the transition between 2024 to 2025. It was 81,000 Hyatt points for those 6 nights. The cash rate, if you're looking to pay, probably not super relevant over New Year's because it's going to be a higher rate, but as I looked out in some random dates in February, the cash rates here were about 150 to 200 US dollars per night. And if you compare that just as a value to Singapore, the Grand Hyatt just a little ways away in the neighboring big city, the Grand Hyatt Singapore runs for about 350 US dollars a night. So here, half to a third of the price of what you'd pay for a comparable Grand Hyatt in Singapore. So the value at this property is incredible, but frankly, the value for luxury hotels in Kuala Lumpur is incredible. So this is priced competitively to the other luxury offerings in the city. Okay, so now let's talk about the pros. First of all, it's a great location, great views out of this hotel. I love that it's so close to the Petronas Twin Towers, not because I'm going to an office building. I did do the observatory tour, and if you're coming to do an observatory tour, there's that one, and then there's the KL Tower, which I looked out of my room right here. If you've only got time for one, do the KL Tower, because the views are much better out of that one. And honestly, the Petronas Towers tour kind of felt like a Chinese tour where they force you to go into a Chinese medicine shop. Like, you literally have to spend 10 minutes in their gift shop and they won't let you leave until your 10 minutes is up. And I'm not kidding. This is not about the Petronas Twin Towers Observatory, is it? All right, Chris, get back to your thing. Anyway, in that mall, underneath the Petronas Twin Towers, the Surya KLCC, there's a great food court, so you can get a lot of cheap, quick eats over there. The room itself was very big. I love the floor-to-ceiling windows that bring in a ton of light. I spent a lot of time just out here this window looking out at the view. I was here over New Year's, and on New Year's Eve, I could see like 3 different fireworks shows out here and the crowds down below, and it was a very festive place to spend December 31st. The hotel, of course, had other celebrations around the property that, you know, I could have joined, but I'm boring, and so I was ready to get in bed, do my celebration in my pajamas. I just like that the bathroom in the room had a lot of space. Like, it's like 3 different areas: the sink part, the bathtub part, the toilet part. So plenty of room in there if you've got a couple people in the room. Each one can be doing a different thing. I like the desk in the room. People often ask me about desks. I like desks because I do a lot of video offloading when I get here. Great desk, great chair for the desk too. I also like the complimentary water that they brought every day. They'd make sure I had 4 bottles every day of water. I was never suffering for a lack of hydration. Now, in this stay, I redeemed a club access award so that I could have access to the Grand Club, where they would provide breakfast, like afternoon snacks and evening appetizers. Really great experience in the lounge. When I checked in the first night, it was a great place to get dinner after a 30-hour journey from California. I was just ready to any food, but it was actually pretty good food, like solid hot offerings, as much liquor as you could drink. I didn't drink any. I'm more of a teetotaler most of the time, but that option was definitely there. And from the lounge, amazing views of the Petronas Twin Towers from the tables eating at the lounge. Now, if you have access to the lounge, you can take your breakfast there, or you can take your breakfast in the restaurant, which is up 1 floor. And that breakfast, that was where I had breakfast every day. That breakfast was amazing. Hands down, one of the best breakfast buffets I've eaten at. I'll caveat that and say the Western food, they're still working on it. They're still working on it. But I actually had a great experience just before shooting this hotel review, as this part of it, like an hour and a half ago, having breakfast up there. As I'm having breakfast, someone walks up to me and says, "Mr. Rainey." I said, "Yes." And she says, "Hi, I work for the hotel. I'm on the guest experiences team. I'd love to get your feedback on your stay and on the breakfast and those sorts of things." And I pointed out some things like the maple syrup has 2 P's. It's maple syrup. It's actually not even maple syrup. And she was like, "Oh, we had no idea." And she took the label and very genuinely cared about the service offerings at breakfast, trying to make it better. But the food, phenomenal. As you know, if you watch my hotel reviews regularly, I love breakfast buffets, and this one, the buffet, is a huge highlight of the stay. I always look forward to it every morning. And it was also great that from there, you could have views of the Petronas Twin Towers, too. I'll give a special shout out to the staff up there as well. They were all super friendly, super delightful. I mentioned to you that I was staying here over New Year's, and on New Year's Day, none of them seemed to be grumpy that they were working. In fact, all of them are quite cheerful. I got a welcome of a Happy New Year, I think, from about 20 people as I walked in for breakfast that morning. And really, to say the staff went the extra mile on things is an understatement. The staff in the restaurant, like, I watched them, there was like a kid and he was carrying a bowl of noodles, maybe 10 years old, and like struggling with it. And one of the staff members saw this kid was struggling with his bowl of noodles, and the staff member came over and took it and said, "Hey, let me carry it for you, where's your table?" And while that's just one story, I would say that example, I saw it repeated over and over again to other people or to myself, where the employees really looked for areas where they could just do that extra thing for the guests. So the service, top notch. Okay, so those are the pros. What are the cons? I've got 3. The first con is it's not as quiet as I would hope. It's pretty quiet from out here. I mean, look, fireworks on New Year's, of course you're gonna hear those, but from the hallway. Like, I could hear people talking in the hallway. There's a little sign in the elevator lobby that said, like, shh, like, keep it quiet for our guests, you know? And I'm like, oh, anytime I see that in a hotel lobby, I'm like, this isn't gonna be good. I don't know, like the doors don't seal or whatever, but you can hear the chatter in the hallway quite a bit into the rooms. I didn't hear anything from the other rooms or from above or below, but from the hallway, certainly. Con number 2, while the location is good, I wish it was better connected to public transit. Maybe this is just an issue with Kuala Lumpur as well, but the public transit infrastructure here isn't great, but it's like, it's near a monorail station, their SkyTrain, like I can see it looking down this way, but like to walk to it is, you can get on this little like second story bridge, you can walk over there and you can get there, but I love the kind of hotels that are like right on top of a station, that you can go from the hotel right into the station. And honestly, walking outside for 5 minutes in the KL heat midday, like, soaked immediately. So I found myself using Grabs and taxis to get around a lot more than using the public transportation. It just would have been nice to be situated more on top of a station so that I could make better use of the public transport here. Con number 3, flies. There were flies in my room, these little tiny black flies. And it wasn't like an infestation of flies. It's not like I was like thousands of them, but every day in the toilet part of the room, there'd be like a handful, 5 of these black flies. And I would kill them all, and they would come back. And I would kill them all, and they would come back. And I'd ask the hotel to come, and they said they would disinfect the room. There's a bug outside my window. And they did. And the flies would come back. And I mentioned it at breakfast today to the wonderful lady who asked me about my feedback, and they're gonna come today and try to disinfect them again. And she said she wondered where the flies come from since everything is sealed, and I have no idea where the flies come from. And I have no idea if that's an issue in any other rooms in the hotel. If you're watching this and you've stayed at this hotel or any other hotels in Kuala Lumpur, is that an issue? These little tiny black flies? Weird. No, there's some of you that might listen to that and be like, Chris, how could you give a hotel 4.5 tovers? There's a bunch of flies in your room. I'm certain I could have asked to move to a different room if I wanted to. Kind of being kind of lazy about it, and a few of these flies every day didn't bother me. I didn't feel like the room was unclean, didn't smell like anything was rotten, didn't seem dirty. Just a strange issue. But if that takes the rating down for you, hey, now you know. I'm hoping that after making a few complaints, they'll rectify it, and it's just an issue with this particular room, and it won't happen again. Fingers crossed. I have faith in that guest feedback manager from this morning. The flies are gone. Thank you, guest relations manager. Whatever she did, whoever she told, the flies are gone. And she also sent a box of pineapple tarts and a handwritten note apologizing for the fly issue and saying they've rectified the problem. Thank you so much. I knew I was right with my 4.5 TOEFL rating. This, classy. Especially the Grand Hyatt Kuala Lumpur ribbon. Now, to answer the question, would I stay here again? I absolutely would. A Category 3 Hyatt on Hyatt points, 81,000 points over New Year's Eve. Amazing value. Being able to redeem a Club Access Award and get the full breakfast buffet, amazing. So yes, I absolutely would stay here again. Should you stay here? I think it's a pretty nice property. I think if you are gonna stay here and you don't have like Hyatt status to get the breakfast included, you should book a rate that includes the breakfast. Breakfast is part of the reason to do it, and there's
there's not a lot of other quick breakfast options nearby. So, I mean, you could walk over to the mall and things like that, but it's not like there's a Starbucks just around the corner. So get the breakfast, enjoy the view, enjoy the morning, and go on your day with a full tummy. Now, if your travels are bringing you to Kuala Lumpur, you might enjoy some of my Kuala Lumpur videos right here, travel guides, walking tours, and more. And fellow explorers, as usual, we won't say goodbye because we're gonna see you in the next video.